what size of business is going to end up with a customized solution? Is it any size? I mean, can it be a small company? What are some of the defining factors that lead you to go, okay, guys, listen, off the shelf is the best choice for you versus customized is the best choice for you?
We learn together what is needed. So very much it's a collaborative, iterative process.
I also think it's incredibly important to include the team from the very beginning, because the tool is made with yourself and your customers in mind.
So it comes down to choosing the right partner, I think. And you've got to be able to push back and say, this isn't working, and have the kind of reciprocity that I get would come from Chillisoft to ensure that, sorry, we're getting this wrong. How do we reiterate and how do we move forward? Welcome to ITWeb Business TV. Today we are sitting down with Chillisoft De Heus to talk about the value of custom-built software versus off-the-shelf software. In this world, custom-built software is offering organizations the ability to create solutions that really do map back to their business needs. They can be customized, they can be adjusted, they're flexible, and they give organizations the freedom to really just dig into a solution that matches their business needs and gives them long-term value. Off-the-shelf solutions, while they do have value, can sometimes struggle and create gaps within the organization, not quite filling all the holes that the solution needs to do, and that's where custom sits in. So today we're going to find out a little bit more about how Chillisoft built a custom solution for De Heus and exactly what building custom means in a world where off-the-shelf exists. Welcome, guys. Welcome to our episode. If you want to introduce yourselves.
Hi, my name's Peter Wiles, and I'm Managing Director at Chillisoft, and we are a software development consulting company that provides development services to businesses, small, medium, large businesses. And you mentioned about custom versus off-the-shelf. Custom software is our business, really. We build custom software for our customers. And what we find is custom software can provide a lot more flexibility, can create new capabilities for organizations. It can meet the needs that businesses have more specifically. Packaged software doesn't always do that. Sometimes it's the perfect choice, but not always.
Yeah, I guess it comes down to getting to know the business so that you can understand which option is going to work and making sure that the fit is perfect, right?
Absolutely.
Which brings us to our mystery guest. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what was the first project that you worked on with Chillisoft?
So my name is Sonali Naidoo. I am representing De Heus. I'm the National Projects Coordinator at De Heus. The first project we did with Chillisoft, I suppose, would be our SSP project.
Okay, amazing. So tell us a little bit more about this project and what it is that made you choose to work with Chillisoft in making it happen.
We were very manual as a company. We did a lot of paper work stuff. So we wanted to automate our systems and remove the manual intervention. And so our journey started with Chillisoft there. And to this point, we've built maybe 10, we've built 10 custom software tools. And I suppose we would never go back now. We built a good relationship with them. They understood our business to a certain level, and we were very happy with the work that they were putting out. So we decided to involve them in our plan to automate all our manual tasks in our business.
Peter, tell us a little bit more about the project from your perspective. Like when they came to you, did you feel like this was the perfect, juicy project for custom?
Yes, absolutely. It was a very good case for building custom software because it had very specific needs which couldn't be filled by off-the-shelf software. And also, it was a really interesting domain to sink our teeth into. We are technical people, but we love the business side. We love finding out and learning about businesses, and every business has its kind of interesting domain characteristics. And animal feed is a really interesting domain. So we enjoyed it a lot.
So you kind of knew right from the beginning that working with off-the-shelf was not going to be a choice for you.
Yeah, we had a very good idea and, a very good understanding of that. Like I said, many levels and a very complex business. And once they decided to understand us better, I mean, who else would we want?
Well, exactly. It all comes down to building that relationship, doesn't it? So, Peter, can you talk us through kind of how this relationship evolved and why you ended up supporting their vision of going for a more kind of customized option, and what has made this into such a successful solution?
Yeah, sure. So, as Sonali said, their needs, De Heus's needs, were very customized in a sense. The business had some core complexity, which there was no package that could manage. So custom dev was the kind of sensible choice. And then we did a small project, something, as Sonali said, something very kind of small to kind of see how this would work, how we'd work together. And that is typically how we would engage normally. We'd start with something that can be delivered, you can see value quickly, and then build on that. So it's not like biting off a huge chunk at once. It's doing it iteratively, incrementally along the way. And then you find yourself, 5-6 years down, you build lots of different modules. In some cases, some pieces of the software kind of ecosystem at De Heus is packaged, and then we're interfacing with those packages.
Okay, so you're basically making sure that everything clicks, right? Everything talks to each other. But like, just going back to off the shelf versus customized as a whole, right? I think one thing that I'd really like to understand is not just working with De Heus, but in general, when you're looking at a business and you're kind of walking through their doors for the first time and trying to understand what it is that they do. How do you, what size of business is going to end up with a customized solution? Is it any size? I mean, can it be a small company? What are some of the defining factors that lead you to go, okay, guys, listen, off the shelf is the best choice for you versus customized is the best choice for you? And what are the differentiating factors, I guess, that make that choice?
Yeah, it is any size. We do software for one-person businesses. We do software for small, medium, and large corporates. It can be any size. It does just depend on the scenario. As you're saying, there are certain scenarios where custom software is the best option. It to some degree depends on the strategy of the business and what they're looking for out of this. If this is if they need software that's kind of a back office function that's not core to their business, often that won't be done in a custom way. But when it's very much core to the business, when it's animal feed recipes or labeling or core things that are like specific to that business, then customers often that's where you're building the customized software.
Is it just me who finds the concept of animal feed being really layered really interesting?
It is.
It's always fascinating. So when we go to the factory, we'll go and look at it's a fascinating business. So.
Can we talk a little bit around the next project that you guys did?
The next project we did was the SSPs project. So that project was mainly about our orders, or all our feed is custom order. So it's not a one bag fits all sort of thing. It's based on what your animals need. So in saying that, our feed has medication in it if you require it, if your vet advises it, and like I said, it's all made to order. So if you want your chickens to grow a certain way or whatever the case is, it will all be formulated for your animals. So for the best of your animals. And in doing that, we needed a way for our systems to organize those medications, those advisory stuff. So that's where we handed it over to Chillisoft to discuss the solution.
So literally all the feed is customized across the whole of quite a broad spread of South Africa, right? I mean, you're looking...
We operate in 20 countries and distribute to 75.
Wow.
All over the world, really.
Yeah. Okay, that's amazing. I'm sorry, customized food sounds amazing. Can you talk us through kind of how you guys approached this and the methodology that was involved?
We spent some time, obviously, in trying to understand that domain. But we also start, typically, as Chillisoft, we'll start to build together so that we're showing and getting feedback along the way, because that's how we learn together what is needed. So very much it's a collaborative, iterative process. We went and looked at the plant to understand like what the business does. Go on site, look and see how is this made, how is this done, so that we understand, okay, this is what it is. That helps a lot, and mostly through the process of weekly showing what we've done, getting feedback, and continuing like that, we built out that first module.
Okay. Yeah. And traditionally, how long does it take? I mean, I'm aware that this is a bit of a piece of string question, right? Because it depends on the project. But how long does it take to create and customize a solution versus, for example, buying one off the shelf? Because there is the perception, obviously, that off the shelf is plug and play, right? I mean, I think that also is a bit of a lie. But I'd be curious to know the difference between the two.
We would normally try and break things into manageable chunks. So we spent 5-6 years building software with De Heus, but it is multiple modules, multiple phases.
Okay.
And so we would normally try and break it into something that's manageable, 4 or 5 months. And even in that, there'll be multiple deliverables along the way. If that makes sense. So,
it does make
so if
sense,
something is like a year's development, we would try and get that down to like 2 pieces or 2 sub-modules, or so that it's more of a manageable. Because the larger the software project is, the more likely it's going to fail.
So the incremental approach basically means that you're seeing results on a fairly consistent level, which is nice as a customer, right? Yeah. But at the same time, if something goes wrong, it's not an entire chunk that's gone wrong. It's one section that then allows you to, I guess, troubleshoot more effectively.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah, and correct course. Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. And then with that kind of approach in mind, what are some of the biggest considerations that companies, and I'd like to start with you, like when it comes to implementing a project of such scale and obviously with such extensive timelines, what are some of the things that you think other companies need to consider when they're moving into a custom software solution?
I think it's very important that, yes, you're going to invest money, but the time is even more important because the input you put into the tool shapes the outcome.
Yeah.
See, I also think it's incredibly important to include the team from the very beginning because the tool is made with yourself and your customers in mind.
Yes, change management. Yes.
So I think it would be very important for that. And then I guess as well, it's also very important that the technology fits you and you don't fit the technology. So it must enable your strategy and not hold you back.
Yeah, I mean, look, those are actually, you're absolutely spot on. And I think also it comes down to choosing the right partner, I think. And you've got to be able to push back and say, this isn't working, and have the kind of reciprocity that I get would come from Chillisoft to ensure that, sorry, we're getting this wrong. How do we reiterate and how do we move forward? Yep. So Peter, how do you guys tackle that when a customer comes to you and says, right, this isn't working or this isn't the way forward? What do you do to kind of address this? What is your strategy as a company?
We engage with customers in a very interactive way. So there's many points of feedback that can come. So every week at least, in fact, it can be even more often than that, there would be that opportunity to feedback. And De Heus has always been a very engaged customer. And we get that feedback. So then you're course correcting all along the way. You're not getting far down the road and suddenly having big issues. So that's one way to deal with it. You spoke about change management, engaging with users, engaging with staff from the start, creates buy-in. So then everyone's kind of bought into the project and is willing and keen to see it succeed. So you don't have as much kind of antagonism that might come if you just force like a piece of software on someone.
Yeah, it's true. Because, I mean, we've all had that moment. It isn't just a one-way relationship. What can clients do? And how should clients be ready for the impact that developing the solution will have on their business? Because it does have an impact and it does take time. So what are the key kind of customer considerations before they move forward?
A key consideration is that time investment. You need to be willing to invest the time. So with custom software, there is a large component of success that comes from the engagement that comes from the customer. So you need to be willing to put in that time and effort. You do get the payoff, you do get the benefit if you do put it in, but that's a big factor to consider. And then, as I said, involve the users from the start, and be willing to show users early, and not wait until you think it's polished, because then you're kind of stuck, or you've got to the point where you have a sunk cost and you don't want to change it. But if you're showing it early and often, and you're engaging people early and often, that's how you get more buy-in, and build trust. So we tend to work on building trust with everyone in the organization, from the senior management through to users, and by doing that, we hopefully develop a relationship where we can take feedback. If we're doing things wrong, we can correct, and build something that works.
Yeah, so overall, it feels like one of the biggest lessons coming from a custom build solution is that collaboration is key to longevity and success, right?
De Heus owns the software, and they operate it and manage it. We do support it, of course. We can change it. We can change the behavior of it, but taking ownership of it is a key part. So that's not something that just happens. It is actually effort. So there is a component of building custom software where you have to take ownership of that software.
Yeah, which I think takes me to my next question, which is, are there any big lessons beyond the ones we've already talked about that you've learned? I would love to start with you. That you think that have paid forward, I guess, into the further projects that you have done with Chillisoft, like big lessons along, as you say, change management or any others similar to that?
Well, yes. I mean, we pick up the little lessons, like we now know how to scope more concise. And also we start to understand the culture of each team. So we have a team and Chillisoft has a team, and we start understanding how we work.
Any other sort of lessons that you've learned through working with multiple customers and in multiple situations that really do make a difference between here's your custom software and here's your custom software that sticks?
We've seen software that's custom built. You can go and read public reports of public companies in South Africa who've spent a lot of money building software that's failed. There's a lot you can do to prevent that. We've talked about some of it, being iterative, incremental, but also practices in the engineering side. That's really important, using a modern software engineering approach, which involves, and we don't need to go too technical, but involves a lot of test automation, deployability, testability, and modularity. There's a lot of learning and knowledge that needs to go into that, into the process of building software from a technical side. One does not simply build secure, reliable custom software.
You have to have the right skills and talent on board.
You have to have the skills, you have to have that. And it is a danger to, and I'm not just saying this to kind of say you should use Chillisoft, but it is a danger to kind of hire a developer and build your own, because if you don't know what issues you might have in terms of security breaches or just failures. So it is an important thing to have a partner that kind of has those things in mind.
Like a proven track record. Trusted.
Yeah.
And eliminates that what if.
Yes.
That sense of what if it goes wrong? What if I've sunk all my money in this project and it doesn't work?
Yes.
You know, there's a lot of those challenges.
Yeah, so that's we always try and manage that risk by doing, like we said, small increments where you're seeing value early, and also building the software in a way that it can be evolved over time is very important.
So there's always that sense of it's sustainable and future forward.
Yes.
It can always adapt and evolve.
Yes.
Right. And I think you brought out a very key word there. And I do feel like that is possibly the tech word of 2025, value. I really do. Because, the hype is there and everyone's like, oh, look at my shiny new. But ultimately, if it doesn't deliver value, then it isn't a shiny new anything. It's just money spent on a blob. So from that perspective, I would like to ask you what you think the value is in terms of having gone custom versus, and I know you said that you're not really in a position to go off the shelf, but what do you think is the value of having that option for as a business?
Firstly, there's the value in you can customize what you're building. You're going to build something that fits your business exactly in your exact processing instead of paying for an off-the-shelf item with lots of functionality that you actually don't need. There's that. And the other importance comes in just the customer being happy and internal staff being happy, because now we're using software that's going to meet our needs.
We've spoken about the first 2 implementations that you guys did, but how many are you on now, and how long has the relationship been going?
10 projects.
10 projects and counting. Okay, so you guys do step in, and the value add from your side is beyond the elements we've already discussed. The value add is to provide consistent support.
Yes.
So they don't feel like you've gone, here's your solution, have a nice day.
No, it's very much, we support it through the long term, for as long as it's wanted and needed.
Okay. So Peter, tell me something. What do you think, looking forward, and while we're talking about looking forward, what do you feel is going to happen in the market going forward between off-the-shelf and custom? Are they kind of converging? Are they becoming increasingly disparate? What are some of the big changes that you're seeing at the moment in that space?
It is a changing landscape, and it has been for, I've been doing this for about 25 years, and it's changed massively. It does seem to kind of go in waves.
Yeah.
It was rapid application development. Now there's a lot of low-code sort of options. We're seeing, obviously, the rise of AI and how that's going to affect software development. What we see happening is businesses are still building custom software. They're building it to differentiate themselves. Everyone's got their app, for example. That is their interface with their customer, including De Heus, as an interface with their customers, business to business.
That's amazing, yeah.
So that we see as still a trend continuing. There's still that happening where there's a lot of room for building things that differentiate your business with custom software. Obviously, like I said, the back office stuff, a payroll or an accounting package, you're not building custom because that's a standard vertical. But where you have a differentiating factor to your business, we're seeing that still being a really ripe sort of place for
like a growing area. Yeah, that's really interesting, actually. I mean, the first thing you made me think of when you said that was like high fashion, because or any kind of retail or business environment, whether it's B2B or B2C, the ability to stand out in what has literally become the noisiest the market has ever been. How do you get your voice heard? And it does come down to that, doesn't it? It comes down to differentiation. If I pick this app up and the experience is gorgeous, then,
Yeah, absolutely.
What is the one thing that you would like the listener to take away when it comes to the value of custom software?
I think the one thing that custom software can give you is a new business capability. It can create new business value. And that can have a huge impact on your business. We've seen this with some small businesses that we've started with who've grown into much bigger businesses on the back of their software that they've built. So that would be my single takeaway.
Okay, that is amazing. Thank you so much. And for you, what is the one big advantage that came out of opting into custom that surprised you, that you didn't expect?
Not surprised us, but the benefit that we're most grateful for is the flexibility. We can enhance features, we can add features, but the tools will grow with us as our business grows. So as we get bigger, the tool changes.
Okay, that's amazing. Thank you so much. And thank you for listening. We'll see you on the next episode.